Our top story, Kiran Gosavi, the Narcotics Control Bureau's independent witness in the cruise ship drugs case, against whom a lookout notice had been issued, has now been detained in Mumbai. In fact, Gosavi had been missing after several questions were raised about how he had gained access to Aryan Khan multiple times during the latter's custody. Saurabh joining us with the latest on that. Saurabh, what are we hearing?
Well, there are several questions that Kiran Gosavi needs to answer, and one of them, the most serious one, is perhaps the allegation that has been made by Prabhakar Sel, who's also an independent witness and was an employee of Gosavi. Now, Prabhakar Sel, in an affidavit and in a statement to the police, has said that there was some sort of money that was collected by Gosavi, and he overheard Gosavi telling someone that they were to demand 25 crores and they were to settle at 18, and of this 18, 8 crores is for Wankhede. This is the allegation that has been made by Prabhakar Sel, again an independent witness, in an affidavit and in a statement to the Mumbai police. Now, Kiran Gosavi had been on the run. He had told NDTV 2 days ago that he would surrender in Lucknow, but the Lucknow police did not want him to surrender there. And of course, after that, the Pune police have detained him. But Kiran Gosavi also is the same person who was seen in that controversial selfie with Aryan Khan when he was in the NCB custody. He had unbridled access to the NCB office. He was seen in several photos with Sameer Wankhede. And these are, of course, purpose from the Narcotics Control Bureau office. He was also in a video seen making Aryan Khan talk to someone on the phone. Now, post that allegations of payoffs and extortion against the NCB, against Sameer Wankhede specifically, and a 4-member team has been set up by the Mumbai police to probe these allegations. 4 police stations have received complaints. All of these developments have taken place overnight. Late last morning, we've got a story that we've been tracking. And earlier yesterday, Sameer Wankhede's sister, moved the National Commission for Women, saying that a case should be registered against Nawab Malik, who has been attacking Wankhede with several allegations. And then, of course, late last night came the news of this 4-member team being set up, and early this morning came the news of Kiran Gosavi's detention by the Pune police, where, of course, he has cases against him, is what several people have alleged.
Right. All right, Saurabh, thanks very much indeed for joining us with all of those details and putting this into context for us. Just to recap, Aryan Khan's jail stay, meanwhile, has stretched by another night as arguments on his bail request in the Bombay High Court spilled over to day 3. His lawyer, Mukul Rohatgi, said in court that his arrest was a direct infringement of his constitutional guarantees and that he had never been given any reason for his custody. His defense team has emphasized nothing was found on Aryan Khan and that grounds for both his arrest and for denial of bail were flimsy. The anti-drugs agency has based its case against Aryan Khan on WhatsApp chats found on his phone, claiming that they provide enough evidence of his involvement in illicit drug deals and links with an international cartel. His lawyers have argued that they, the NCB, have his phone. They tell you they have WhatsApp chats. I am handicapped. I do not know what they have. They chose to mislead the court. Meanwhile, Aryan's friend Arbaz Merchant has also told the court that there is no evidence of any conspiracy or agreement. Meanwhile, the Mumbai police has also deputed police officers for inquiry into complaints of alleged extortion against NCB officers, including the zonal director Sameer Wankhede in the drugs bust case that involves Aryan Khan. The police are conducting inquiry into 4 complaints filed by independent witness in the NCB case, Prabhakar Sel, lawyers Sudha Dwivedi and Kanishk Jain and Nitin Deshmukh. All complaints have been clubbed together. On Tuesday and Wednesday, the police recorded Mr. Sel's statement, and that probe is going to be supervised by an additional commissioner of police. In news coming in from Jammu and Kashmir, one terrorist has been killed after he fired at a joint party of the army and police in the Baramulla area. The police claims a pistol and a grenade has been recovered from the body of the terrorist and that he was attempting to kill a shopkeeper in Jammu and Kashmir and that he was also linked to two labourers earlier. Nazir joining us at this point with the latest on that. Nazir, what more are we hearing?
Not much, except what police have officially said that one militant has been killed, and they are saying he tried to attack a joint party of police, which is a youth area domination party of army and police in Baramulla area. And the retaliatory firing, he has been killed. According to police, one pistol and one grenade have been recovered from the dead militant. So they are saying his identity is yet to be established. What we are hearing, it is a local militant who has been killed during this brief encounter in Baramulla area. We have seen series of encounters in Kashmir after recent spate of civilian killings and also attacks, but Baramulla was largely free from these things. And now CC early in the morning, police saying they have killed one militant.
All right, Nazir, thank you for that update. India has successfully tested the 5,000-kilometer range ballistic missile, the Agni-5. This is a China-specific nuclear-capable missile. The test comes amid a great deal of tension between the two countries. In a press release, the government has said the Agni-5 is capable of striking targets at ranges up to 5,000 kilometers with a very high degree of accuracy. It uses a 3-stage solid-fueled engine. The government also says the successful launch is in line with India's policy to have credible minimum deterrence that underpins the commitment to no first use. The World Health Organization has clarified that it could have a final decision on whether it will grant emergency use authorization to the India-made Covaxin. WHO's Technical Advisory Group met yesterday and decided that additional clarifications from the manufacturer Bharat Biotech were needed to conduct that final risk-benefit assessment. The Technical Advisory Group expects to receive those clarifications from the manufacturer by the end of this week and will reconvene for the final risk-benefit assessment on Wednesday, the 3rd of November. And staying with news on India's fight against COVID, well, more than 90% of the people of Delhi, it seems, have antibodies for coronavirus. This is what sources say after the 6th Sero survey report of the national capital. Every district in Delhi has registered no less than 85% seropositivity. The figure, however, includes antibodies that were formed through vaccination. Till Sunday, more than 2 crore people in Delhi had received the first dose of the vaccine. That's around 86% of the population, and 48% have received both doses of the vaccine. The Delhi government has permitted schools to reopen for offline teaching and learning activities now for all classes from the 1st of November. Delhi's Deputy Chief Minister Manish Sisodia making that announcement. But he added that no parent would be forced to send their children for offline classes and that online classes would continue as well.
The decision to open schools in Delhi in a full-fledged manner from the 1st of November, which is the coming Monday, has left many parents and students wondering what should be the way ahead. While some agree that yes, they should go back to the schools, some say that this is not the right timing given festive season is still on in the country and that experts believe that post this festive season cases might rise. Listen in to what some parents and students told us about the schools reopening in the national capital.
काफी समय से हम देख रहे हैं कि कोविड के टाइम से स्कूल बंद है. बच्चों के फ्यूचर पे तो फर्क पड़ा ही है. जैसे अभी न्यूज़ आई कि मंडे से खुलने वाले हैं, तो मेरी यही रहेगी कि स्कूल खुलने चाहिए पर पूरे प्रिकॉशंस के साथ.
जो स्कूल खुल रहे हैं उसके लिए मैं भी एग्री नहीं हूँ कि मैं अपने बच्चे को स्कूल भेजूँ, क्योंकि अभी ज़्यादा कुछ है नहीं कोविड में सुरक्षा जो है. तो मैं नहीं चाहूँगा कि मैं अपने बच्चे को भेजूँ, और शायद दूसरों को भी मैं थोड़ा बोलूँगा कि अगर आप बच्चे को स्कूल भेजना चाहते हैं तो प्लीज़ थोड़ा सा आप सोचिए इस बारे में कि आप भेजने लायक हैं या नहीं बच्चे को.
And I feel it's a bit rushed. I feel the decision was a bit frantic, and just before boards, and more importantly just before Diwali, when I feel the cases will rise a bit, there'll be a spike followed by the boards.
I am just not comfortable for the main reason because I was not comfortable till the time I was vaccinated. I didn't step out. I didn't meet people.
Still ahead, Lalu Yadav begins a high-profile campaign in Bihar ahead of by-polls. We get you details in a moment. This Saturday, crucial by-polls will be held in multiple states. Well, what's the big picture in all of this? Sanket Upadhyay gets us the details.
So, curtains on campaigning for by-elections 2021, but what are the key contests? Let's quickly find out. Let's take a look at the state of Bihar, where there are two assembly seats earlier held by JDU. But of course, with Lalu Prasad Yadav back, it appears that this is going to be a close contest, and already the smaller party in the ruling alliance, Chief Minister Nitish Kumar, must retain both. Now let's take a look at the next battleground state, which is Rajasthan, where again you've got two assembly seats, one held by the Congress, one by the BJP, and Chief Minister Gehlot has a slim majority, plus the big factional fight he faces from Sachin Pilot, so it is in his interest to win these two. In Bengal, you've got four key contests, two held by the BJP, two by the TMC. Again, it is going to be that big prestige battle between the BJP and the TMC to be able to sweep Bengal elections, or will it be a 50-50? Let's now take a look at Telangana, where there is only one seat of Huzurabad, where this is again a prestige battle for Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao, or KCR. Main challenger is his ex-minister sacked over alleged corruption, who is now in the Bharatiya Janata Party, a party which is trying to increase their foothold in the state of Telangana. And Madhya Pradesh, where there are three key contests, one seat held by the BJP in Raigaon and Congress holding Prithvipur as well as Jobat. Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan has again a slim majority here as well, would want to bolster his position by winning as many seats as possible. So it's a crucial contest across the country where various by-elections are being held.
A resolution on Hindus attacked in Bangladesh, a discussion on the fuel price hike and a strategy ahead of 5 state elections are on the agenda of a 3-day meeting of the BJP's ideological mentor, the RSS in Karnataka. That meeting in Dharwad begins today and will carry on till Saturday. It's the first in-person gathering of the RSS leadership in 2 years. Last year, the RSS's national executive was cancelled because of COVID. The RSS chief, Mohan Bhagwat, and its number 2 leader, Dattatreya Hosbale, will be among more than 350 functionaries who are set to attend this national executive. And the BJP's General Secretary, B.L. Santosh, will also be part of that meet. Meanwhile, RJD chief Lalu Yadav, who returned to Bihar after almost 3.5 years, campaigned for his party for the forthcoming by-polls to 2 assembly seats, Kusheshwarsthan and Tarapur. Congress President Sonia Gandhi dialed Lalu Yadav on Tuesday amid signs that the RJD leader considers his longtime ally a deadweight in Bihar.
Lalu Yadav back on a campaign trail for the first time since 2015, having been jailed and unwell for much of the time. The crowds cheering both him and his son Tejasvi, who led the party to an impressive performance in last year's assembly election. The RJD is now looking to wrest 2 by-poll seats, Tarapur and Kusheshwarsthan, from Chief Minister Nitish Kumar's party, the JDU. Lalu hit back at charges made by Nitish Kumar, alleging that Lalu might could get him shot dead.
अगर चाहें तो गोली मरवा सकते और कुछ नहीं कर सकते, समझ गए ना?
ऐसे तो तेजस्वी यादव जी पूरा सब जगह घूम ही रहे हैं, उखाड़ के वही फेंक चुके हैं उनको, बाकी जो बचा है उसका हम विसर्जन कर देंगे। हमारी पार्टी बहुत मजबूत वोटों से जीतेगी।
But Lalu is also fighting against the Congress, one of his oldest allies. His dig at the Congress losing streak prompted a phone call from Sonia Gandhi.
सोनिया जी से बात चली कि हाल चाल क्या है, कैसे है, कहाँ है, हमका सब ठीक है। ऑल इंडिया पार्टी अपनी पार्टी है, बड़ा दल है। सभी लोगों को इकट्ठा करिए, सब पार्टी को, लाइक माइंडेड लोगों को इकट्ठा करके एक विकल्प मजबूत जल्दी बनाया जाए। मीटिंग बुलाइए, सब लोगों को मीटिंग बुलाइए।
Clearly, Lalu may not be keeping good health, but politically, he's fighting fit for friends and foes alike. With Manish Kumar, Usama Shah for NDTV.
Time for a very quick break. Still ahead, Bengaluru's Rang Shankara Theatre turns 17. We'll get you a special interview with its co-founder. There's been no fresh incident of violence in Tripura in the last 24 hours, but this was only after the police imposed Section 144 of the CRPC in parts of North Tripura district following violence on Tuesday evening in the Panisagar area, where a protest rally by a right-wing groups against attacks on Hindus in Bangladesh turned violent and a mosque was vandalized. Several houses of Muslims were ransacked and incidents of arson were also reported. There have been no arrests so far. For the last 1 week, there have been certain incidents being reported from Tripura, and the state police is now claiming to have provided security to mosques as well. But the police has now tweeted claiming fake social media accounts are being used to spread fake news and communally sensitive rumors, including pictures of burning and damaged mosques. The police claims the situation is absolutely normal and action will be taken against those spreading rumors. Let's move on to some other news. If I tell you you could own a rare and precious moment of your favorite artist or his iconic clothing, poetry or song, and all of this could happen through a digital auction, would you believe it? Well, believe Mr. Amitabh Bachchan. That's right, Big B is dropping his first ever non-fungible token or NFT, and NDTV gets you inside access. Here are the details from the Big B himself.
Namaskar, this is Amitabh Bachchan. Perhaps all of you know that some time ago there was an announcement of my association with NFT. Many of you are not aware what NFT is all about. So NFT is like an institution that possesses various personal artifacts, personal moments of artists, and puts it out in an auction for you to be able to acquire it in perpetuity. So let us say that there is either a poster, a piece of garment that I've worn in a film of mine, or some personal clothing, recitations of my father's poems with a little bit of story behind it. All these become very intimate moments, which then goes up in an auction, and you possess that in perpetuity. It remains with you for life. And it comes with a certification. You can trade with it also in the future if you so desire. But the NFTs will offer you a chance to own an original piece of, my rare, cherishable moments of my life. As I said, eternally. You can also trade them freely. Yeah. So right from my first film, South Hindustani, to my earlier life, right down to present times, little stories about my films, about a particular scene. Recitation of Madhushala, for example, which I've done in the same way that my father used to sing it, and giving it some music, some backstories on moments, on films. And as I said, these remain with you. So there is going to be an auction, and what you need to do is, all this is brought to you exclusively on, make a note of this, beyondlife.club. Beyondlife.club. And the stage for this is set on November the 1st, 2021. So you need to watch out for the drop line. I'm going to be waiting for you. So be there and cherish. Beyond Life Club. Thank you.
It's also been 17 years since the theatre Rang Shankara opened in Bengaluru. The theatre was named for the late actor Shankar Nag and has seen continuous performances broken only by the pandemic. Arundhati Nag spoke to NDTV's Maya Sharma about the challenges of running a theatre in the time of COVID and of the festival staying alive starting today that marks its survival. We're in Bengaluru's Ranga Shankara Theatre, a theatre inspired by, named after the late Shankar Nag. Joining us, artistic advisor, managing trustee or chief slave as she refers to herself, Arundhati Nag. Yes. It's been 17 years now of Ranga Shankara. Can you believe it? Has it sunk in?
I have to take off my mask for this because, yes, it's 17 years. I can't believe it. It seems like yesterday that we had a 45-day festival and we had people from all over the country coming to perform for the inauguration of this space. Sometimes it seems like yesterday, sometimes it seems like the Swiss Alps and the Himalayas put together that one has kind of climbed in these 17 years. But that is the nature of the beast, I guess.
Absolutely. Theatre. Now, how are you planning to mark this? What's special is going to be happening on for the 17 years?
I guess every year is a challenge. Every year we cook up exciting ways of celebrating one more step, one more year gone by. This year, of course, has been so much more challenging. The time of the pandemic has been challenging. I mean, nobody ever imagined that theatre would come to a standstill. All performing artists, all artisans, all craftspeople, everybody's life, I mean, it's like just dead halt. So between half a house, between no houses, between wicked ways of communicating with our audiences, going digital, I really felt like a monkey trying to innovate new ways of just surviving.
Theatre is so live and so much about the live audience, and going online must have been a huge challenge to start with.
Absolutely, and we were never prepared for it. And also we come from the conviction that the real thing is the real thing and everything else follows. So to kind of adapt to this reality that the pandemic brought with it was not being able to touch one another, not being able to look into one another's eyes was very, very difficult on all of us. But we tried to help the community and keep it going, keep its enthusiasm going. I think as an institution that becomes our job. Okay. So last year we went completely digital because it was really harsh around this time. And this year we have a hybrid festival because till a month ago we really didn't know which way this is going to go, whether people are going to be traveling from one state to the other, whether we are going to be allowed 50% audiences.
We have lived in fear of the third wave.
But we had to take the decision, so we decided to have plan A, B and C. And now we're executing all the three. We have a physical festival. We have supported 4 groups, local groups from Bangalore, to create new pieces. Yes, and as responses to the difficult times that we have gone through, to the learnings of what we all went through in these times. So they're not all sad plays. They're some of them, and the theme is staying alive.
Staying alive, I can see, yes, absolutely.
The theme
The poster's there. Yes.
Staying alive, and our friend who creates all our festival creatives has given us a bell jar with a man, a woman, a child, and a plant inside the bell jar. So that's how we all survived. And
in our bubbles.
And a bird on the outside. It's almost like life calling and saying, hey, I live. So staying alive is the theme. And within that theme, I think we have put together a nice, decent package of 3 Kannada plays, 1 Hindi play, performed by local troops of Bangalore.
These are live theatre on the stage.
Live, yes. And so that also ensures that we'll have 4 new plays playing in Bangalore. Nobody has produced new stuff in the last 2 years. And we have 1 play, which a team which is from Jaipur, but has actors also from Bombay, the director from Pune, who dared to meet 10 days a month during this pandemic and rehearse a play. So they've created a new piece inspired by the music of the Manganiyars and a story by Vijay Dandeta. So it's in Rajasthani, Bundelkhandi, Hindi, Punjabi, and it's the last day's show.
That is the final show.
So that's a small package of 5 plays. We have a digital festival curated by Amitesh Grover, who has been doing very fine work in the digital medium. So I put the gun on his shoulder, and he has curated 5 works of digital in nature, which have been made by people during the pandemic.
During the pandemic, and these digital shows can be accessed by anyone. How does it work?
They will be online. They will be online, so a person can go to the Rangashankara website, register, and then they get access to that. Some are paid and some might be free. Yes,
that's excellent.
And we also have half-an-hour pieces, performances actually, which will be performed in different parts of the building.
Yes, there's a lot of interesting spaces in this building where performances can, lots of nooks really. It's a very fascinating.
That was also a backup plan. Suppose the government had to shut auditoriums, then we would have had no plays on stage. But we made the other informal spaces adaptable to performances. In case.
So what is the status now? Can you have full auditorium?
Full auditorium, 100%. People have to show their proof of vaccination, at least 1 vaccination. We sanitize the auditorium after every show. We check your temperature at the entrance. We take your telephone number and your location, your email ID. And we force you to wear your mask. You're not allowed inside the auditorium without the mask. So I think we've taken all the precautions that are humanly possible, and the rest of it, we have an announcement also that tells people that it's not only about your health, it's about your co-audience's health too. So take your health and your life in your control. What else can one do, you know?
Theatre in the time of COVID-19.
Yes.
Thank you so much, Arundhati. All the very best for the festival. 17 years on, the theme, staying alive, here in Rangashankara, which is marking 17 years of existence this month. With DM Kumar, Maya Sharma in Bengaluru for NDTV. You're with Good Morning India. I'm Ankita Mukherjee. The big story right now. Kiran Gosavi, the controversial independent witness of the Narcotics Agency that's investigating the Mumbai drugs on cruise case, has been detained in Pune. Gosavi's detention comes 3 days after he claimed he would surrender at a police station in Lucknow as he felt threatened in Maharashtra. Now, Gosavi, a private investigator, was present during the cruise ship raid earlier this month and later at the Narcotics Control Bureau's office with superstar Shah Rukh Khan's son, Aryan Khan. His selfies and videos with Aryan Khan in both places had indicated that he seemed to have unlimited access to him. Those questions raising multiple questions about the NCB's role in this investigation. A man who claimed to be Gosavi's personal bodyguard also made allegations of bribery against him. Saurabh joining us at this point with the latest on all of that. Saurabh, what do we know now of this arrest or detention, as the case may be?
Well, I mean, the Pune police has confirmed that he's in their custody, and this is something that was, well, you could say on the cards because Gosavi wanted to surrender. But this is not a surrender. This is a detention. And what we're being told is that there are several allegations against Gosavi, including some cases the Pune police has. But the more recent allegations are, of course, connected to the drugs on cruise ship case in Mumbai, where, of course, Prabhakar Sel, an independent witness named by the anti-drugs agency, who also works with Kiran Gosavi, who's also an independent agency, has made several sensational allegations, including that he overheard Kiran Gosavi talk about a possible payoff, and he said drop a bomb of 25 lakh and then, of course, settle at 18 lakh, and of that, 8 crores will go to Sameer Wankhede. That's an allegation that has been made on an affidavit, and of course, in a statement to the Mumbai police has recorded Prabhakar Sel's statement, and they were looking for Gosavi because Gosavi was not only seen in a controversial selfie with Aryan Khan while Aryan Khan was in NTV custody, he was also seen in several photographs with the zonal director Sameer Wankhede, and also he had unbridled access to the NCB office, which is very rare for an independent witness. He's also seen handling the accused. So what kind of relation does he have with Wankhede? That's of course going to be one of the key questions, given that there have been bribery and payoff allegations which have been made, which of course Sameer Wankhede also has filed an affidavit in response to, saying that he's being targeted for personal vendetta and all of that. But the fact remains that this is of course an NCB witness who's making that claim. So, it's a very serious allegation, and a vigilance probe has been ordered against Wankhede. And I beg your pardon, the Narcotics Control Bureau officials have asked for all of these people to appear before them, but obviously whether they do or not is something that we'll know. But in the meantime, the Mumbai police has also set up a 4-member team to investigate allegations against Sameer Wankhede. This after at least 4 police stations received complaints over allegations against him, and now it remains to be seen whether he's handed over to the Mumbai police in connection with the Prabhakar Sel statement and the complaint, or whether the Pune police investigate on how that happened. These are, of course, things that are not yet clear, but it is clear that Kiran Gosavi, who seems to be close to Sameer Wankhede, is now in the custody of the Pune police.
Right, Saurabh, I believe we're also expecting to hear from the Pune police around 11 o'clock this morning, so no doubt more details will be available then. Meanwhile, Aryan Khan's jail stay has stretched by another night as arguments on his bail request in the Bombay High Court spilled over to day 3. His lawyer, Mukul Rohatgi, said in court that his arrest was a direct infringement of his constitutional guarantees and that he was never given any reason for his custody, that the court was misled. His defense team emphasizing nothing was found on him and that the grounds for both his arrest and for denial of bail were flimsy. Mukul Rohatgi, his lawyer, talked about how the entire case against him was based on WhatsApp chats found on his phone, and he said that I have no access to that phone, I am handicapped, I do not know what they have. Meanwhile, Arbaz Merchant, Aryan Khan's friend's lawyer, told the court that there was no evidence of any conspiracy or agreement. Saurabh is still with us. Saurabh, one more day of bail arguments then?
Yes. The Narcotics Control Bureau's lawyer, Additional Solicitor General Anil Singh, will respond in the bail applications today. His arguments will be heard after 2:30 in the courtroom where Mukul Rohatgi argued for Aryan Khan. The former Attorney General is, of course, made a very strong argument, and so has the senior advocate Amit Sai, who's also argued for Arbaz Merchant. So, in this case, Mukul Rohatgi has raised a very important point. Now, the Narcotics Control Bureau has said they made the arrest based on WhatsApp chats. They said, they were WhatsApp chats to show he was in touch with international drug cartels. The special NDTV court, which has granted bail to 2 others, did not grant bail to Aryan Khan. And also, but the main question is, if this entire case against Aryan Khan was based on WhatsApp chats, there should have been a memo or, a panchnama about a phone from which all of this was recovered, that this phone was taken into the custody of the NCB and then this was recovered. But there's no such panchnama or memo. And that is, of course, puncturing the whole case of the Narcotics Control Bureau. Of course, what view the Bombay High Court takes of these arguments is not yet known. The Bombay High Court will hear both sides. The NCB is likely to offer an explanation on the arguments that have been made by Mukul Rohatgi, the former Attorney General, and Senior Advocate Amit Desai, and then, of course, arrive at a decision. But it's not sure if the court will announce its orders today itself. There are multiple things that the court could do. It could announce an operational order and give a pass and case order later, or it could also, dictate orders in court, or it could reserve orders. So that is, of course, the discretion of the court, of the judge, and then that will, of course, be clear only once the arguments conclude this afternoon.
Right, Saurabh. Thanks very much indeed for all of those details. As Saurabh was mentioning, the Mumbai police has now deputed police officers for inquiring into complaints of alleged extortion against NCB officers, including the zonal director Sameer Wankhede in the drugs bust case that involves Aryan Khan. The police are conducting inquiry into 4 complaints filed by independent witnesses, Prabhakar Sell, lawyers Sudha Dwivedi and Kanishk Jain and Nitin Deshmukh. All have been clubbed together, and the probe will be supervised by an additional commissioner of police, Dilip Sawant. In news coming in from Jammu and Kashmir, a terrorist has been killed after he fired at a joint party of the army and the police in Baramulla. One pistol and a grenade has been recovered from the body. Nazir joining us with the latest on that. Nazir, what more do we know?
Well, based on 2 police tweets, one was that he fired on a police party and in the retaliation he was killed. Then there's a second tweet where police are identifying the killed militant as a hybrid type terrorist whose name is Javed Ahmed, and he was associate of some other, according to police, a terrorist, Gulzar Ahmed, who was involved in recent civilian killings, the migrant workers in Kulgam. This Javed Ahmed, he belongs to Kulgam district, and police are saying now that he was on way to Baramulla, where he was supposed to kill a shopkeeper. So in that process, even there was a police party, area domination party, ADP is called area domination party, by the army and the police, where he fired upon them and he was killed in the retaliatory fire. And this term, which has been coined as hybrid terrorist, it is controversial as well as dangerous classification, because it's first time after the recent killing of these migrant workers when the police coined this term hybrid terrorist. So anybody who is not listed as a militant but in police records but is suspected to be associate of any militant or involved in, he can be called as a hybrid terrorist. And so it is a dangerous classification. So he comes in that category, according to police, that he was a hybrid terrorist. He was on a mission to kill a shopkeeper, but somewhere there was an area domination party of the police and the army, and he fired on them and he was killed. So in last 1 month, rather, in over 3 weeks, police have killed 18 militants now in Kashmir during several encounters. And according to police, many of them were involved in civilian killings in Kashmir. So on one hand, we have seen the civilian killings, targeted killings, and the major operation in Pune. On the other side, we have seen police killing the highest number of militants in any month, which is 18 militants this month.
All right, Nazir, thanks very much indeed for all of those details. We will take a very quick break at this hour. More news coming up, including an accident at one of the farmer protest sites on the borders of Delhi. We'll have more details in a moment. Welcome back to Good Morning India. On Saturday, crucial by-polls will be held in multiple states. Well, what's the big picture? Sanket Upadhyay gets us the details.
So curtains on campaigning for by-elections 2021, but what are the key contests? Let's quickly find out. Let's take a look at the state of Bihar, where there are 2 assembly seats earlier held by JDU. But of course, with Lalu Prasad Yadav back, it appears that this is going to be a close contest, and already the smaller party in the ruling alliance, Chief Minister Nitish Kumar, must retain both. Now let's take a look at the next battleground state, which is Rajasthan, where again you've got 2 assembly seats, one held by the Congress, one by the BJP, and Chief Minister Gehlot has a slim majority, plus the big factional fight he faces from Sachin Pilot, so it is in his interest to win these 2. In Bengal, you've got 4 key contests, 2 held by the BJP, 2 by the TMC. Again, it is going to be that big prestige battle between the BJP and the TMC to be able to sweep Bengal elections, or will it be a 50-50? Let's now take a look at Telangana, where there is only 1 seat of Huzurabad, where this is again a prestige battle for Chief Minister K. Chandrasekhar Rao, or KCR. Main challenger is his ex-minister sacked over alleged corruption, who is now in the Bharatiya Janata Party, a party which is trying to increase his their foothold in the state of Telangana. And Madhya Pradesh, where there are 3 key contests, 1 seat held by the BJP in Raigaon and Congress holding Prithvipur as well as Jobat. Chief Minister Shivraj Singh Chauhan has again a slim majority here as well, would want to bolster his position by winning as many seats as possible. So it's a crucial contest across the country where various by-elections are being held.
Rashtriya Janata Dal chief Lalu Prasad Yadav, who returned to Bihar after almost 3.5 years, has been campaigning for his party for the forthcoming by-polls to 2 assembly seats in Bihar. The Congress President Sonia Gandhi also dialed Lalu Yadav on Tuesday amid signs that the RJD leader considers his long-time ally rather a dead weight in Bihar.
Lalu Yadav back on a campaign trail for the first time since 2015, having been jailed and unwell for much of the time. The crowds cheering both him and his son Tejasvi, who led the party to an impressive performance in last year's assembly election. The RJD is now looking to wrest 2 by-poll seats, Tarapur and Kusheshwarstan, from Chief Minister Nitish Kumar's party, the JDU. Lalu hit back at charges made by Nitish Kumar, alleging that Lalu might could get him shot dead.
अगर चाहें तो गोली मरवा सकते और कुछ नहीं कर सकते, समझ गए ना?
ऐसे तो तेजस्वी यादव जी पूरा सब जगह घूम ही रहे हैं, उखाड़ के वही फेंक चुके हैं उनको, बाकी जो बचा है उसका हम विसर्जन कर देंगे। हमारी पार्टी बहुत मजबूत वोटों से जीतेगी।
But Lalu is also fighting against the Congress, one of his oldest allies. His dig at the Congress losing streak prompted a phone call from Sonia Gandhi.
सोनिया जी से बात चली कि हाल चाल क्या है, कैसे है, कहाँ है, हमका सब ठीक है। ऑल इंडिया पार्टी अपनी पार्टी है, बड़ा दल है, सभी लोगों को इकट्ठा करिए, सब पार्टी को, लाइक माइंडेड लोगों को इकट्ठा करके विकल्प मजबूत जल्दी बनाया जाए। मीटिंग बुलाइए, सब लोगों को मीटिंग बुलाइए।
Clearly, Lalu may not be keeping good health, but politically, he's fighting fit for friends and foes alike. With Manish Kumar, Usama Shah for NDTV.
A resolution on Hindus attacked in Bangladesh, a discussion on the fuel price hike and a strategy ahead of 5 state elections are on the agenda of a 3-day meeting of the RSS, the BJP's ideological mentor, that's taking place in Karnataka. It begins today and carries on till Saturday. It's the first in-person gathering of the RSS leadership in 2 years. Last year, the meetings had been cancelled because of COVID. Well, the RSS chief, Mohan Bhagwat, and the organization's number 2 leader, Dattatreya Hosbale, will be among more than 350 functionaries who are attending. The BJP's BL Santosh will also be part of this meet. We'll take a very quick break at this point. Still ahead, Delhi schools set to reopen for all classes from the 1st of November, though no one will be forced to attend physical classes if they don't want to. We'll have much more on that big story when we return in just a moment. A final decision on emergency use authorization for the India-made Covaxin could come on the 3rd of November is what the World Health Organization has indicated. In a tweet, it says its technical advisory group met yesterday and decided additional clarifications were needed, and it expects to get these clarifications by the end of this week, after which the group will convene on the 3rd of November to take a final risk-benefit assessment on Covaxin. Meanwhile, the Delhi government has announced that schools for all classes in the national capital will resume from the 1st of November. Making that announcement, Delhi's Deputy Chief Minister and Education Minister Manish Sisodia said no one would be forced to attend, and online classes would be taking place simultaneously as well. But perhaps it is the timing that may have raised a few eyebrows, coming as it does just before Diwali, when there have been concerns over a festival spike in cases. Well, to discuss this, we're joined by stakeholders from schools, parents, as well as doctors. Dr. Sudha Acharya, principal of the ITL Public School, is with us on the show. Dr. P.S. Narang, Associate Director, Pediatric of Max Healthcare, is with us. Aprajita Gautam, President of the Delhi Parents Association, is also with us. A very good morning to all of you. Thank you for joining us on the show. Let's quickly get a view in from the schools themselves. Dr. Sudha Acharya, are schools ready for this? You're already open for the senior classes. Do you have the bandwidth to bring all students back to school, even at 50% capacity?
Yeah, we have opened already for classes 9 to 12. And we are getting very good attendance, as earlier also I have said. We are completely ready for the school reopening, but not from 1st November, because as Diwali holidays are approaching, so we are planning to open from 8th November, but of course on a staggered timing and staggered section-wise or strength-wise, as we have to accommodate only 50%. School is completely ready. All our staff, whole staff, including conservancy staff, everybody is vaccinated, fully vaccinated. So we are ready. We welcome the decision.
Aprajita Gautam, where do parents stand on this? There have been very sort of strong views on either sides of this debate. Some parents still have concerns. Perhaps those concerns are going to be aggravated by the fact that there may be a post-festival spike in the number of cases. Do you agree with this decision to open schools from the 1st of November for all classes?
अगर आपने बोला सम पेरेंट्स, मैं बोलूंगी ये सम नहीं है. 70 to 80% पेरेंट्स अभी भी रेडी नहीं है बच्चों को स्कूल भेजने के लिए. छोटा सा मैं एग्जांपल देना चाहूंगी यहाँ पर. अभी ही कल या परसों में ही DCPCR की एक मीटिंग हुई थी. इट वाज रिगार्डिंग दी स्टूडेंट्स ओनली, बच्चों से रिलेटेड हुई थी. वहां पर भी आतिशी मरलेना ने डेटा शेयर किया था. उन्होंने ये स्पेसिफिकली बोला था कि प्राइवेट स्कूल्स में जो बच्चे जा रहे हैं 10 to 15% जा रहे हैं. क्यों? इसके पीछे सिर्फ एक रीजन है, जो आपके शो में मैंने पहले भी कहा था, आज फिर कह रही हूँ. ना तो सरकार ना ही स्कूल, दोनों जो हैं, पेरेंट्स को वो इतना कॉन्फिडेंस वो बिल्ड नहीं कर पा रहे हैं, वो विश्वास पेरेंट्स पे पैदा नहीं कर पा रहे हैं कि पेरेंट्स अपने बच्चों को स्कूल भेज पाए. दूसरी बात, यहाँ पर हम सब देख रहे हैं खुद ही मीडिया और बाकी चीजों के जरिए कि महाराष्ट्र में और पश्चिम बंगाल में स्कूल खुलने के बाद जब ये त्योहार आए थे, जब हम फेस्टिवल्स की बात करें, आफ्टर द फेस्टिवल्स केसेस इंक्रीज हुए हैं. हिमाचल प्रदेश में भी ये साबित हो चुका है कि करीबन 500 बच्चे कोविड पॉजिटिव हुए हैं. प्लस ओवर एंड अबव आप बाहर की कंट्रीज को देखते हैं, अगर चाइना देखते हैं दोबारा से लॉकडाउन की स्थिति में जा रहा है. आप यूरोप देखते हैं, वहां पर भी नया जो वेरिएंट है वो आ गया है. ये सारी चीजें कोलैबोरेट होकर बच्चों में, पेरेंट्स में एक डर को दे रही हैं. जबकि मैं आपको एज ए पेरेंट भी बताऊं, हम लोग ईगरली वेट कर रहे हैं कब सिचुएशन नॉर्मल हो, कब हम बच्चों को स्कूल भेजें. बट प्रॉब्लम ये है कि हम बच्चों की हेल्थ पे फोकस करें या उनकी स्टडी पे. जब इस तराजू में तोलते हैं अपने बच्चों को लेकर, तो हमें लगता है कि वी शुड टेक केयर ऑफ हेल्थ और उनकी लाइफ को ध्यान रखें. और जो जैसे सुधा मैम का मैं धन्यवाद कहूंगी, जो उन्होंने बोला कि फर्स्ट की जगह वो 8 से ओपन कर रही है. आई थिंक वाइज डिसीजन कि फेस्टिवल का टाइम थोड़ा सा निकलने दे रहे हैं.
ओके, Dr. P.S. Narang, you've heard what Aprajita Gautam said, the perspective of parents being that at the end of the day, the child's health is probably paramount, even when education has seemed to be suffering really from this extended staying at home period. Your thoughts on this, the fact that it's opening right before, that schools will reopen right before Diwali. Are you concerned at all about this, or do you believe that it's time to do this?
So, first of all, we have to adopt to a new normal way, okay? Even after taking the vaccinations, we have seen that some vaccinated people are getting infection, but they are definitely getting mild infections, okay? And whenever you have taken the vaccination, it is not the time to relax. You have to continue wearing mask. You have to continue maintaining the hygiene. Wherever you are, indoor or outdoor, you have to maintain the ventilation there. You have to maintain the cleanliness there. And then we have to continue monitoring.
But Dr. Narang, pardon me for interrupting, Dr. Narang, but children actually haven't even been vaccinated yet. So would you say they are then at higher risk?
Fortunately, children do not get a severe disease anyway. And if they don't get a severe disease, and if the parents are protected, teachers are protected, and we continue to do a lateral testing, which means that we keep on screening our staff at school, we keep on screening children at school, then we can open. Of course, vaccine has already been granted, and if vaccine has been granted, we must roll out the vaccine quickly, and vaccine should come and children should get vaccinated. But we can't wait for that long for the vaccine to come on. And even if the vaccine children will get the vaccine, they still have to maintain this new normal way, which is that continuing good hygiene standard, continuing good monitoring, maintaining social distance, and keeping mask on. The children are suffering from physical, mental, and social. I agree that, okay, after festival, there can be increase in the number of cases. But believe me, the cases can increase anyway, even if the schools are not open, because in the festival, children are not going to stay home. You are going to get relatives, you're going to get friends at home, and not everybody is taking all the precaution which should have been taken. And children are fortunately not getting severe disease.
Yes.
We must continue our efforts to open the school. And of course, we need good confidence from parents. We need good confidence from schools. And we must make
Dr.
our effort.
Dr. Narang, one follow-up question that I have for you. The most recent Sero survey, which looks at what percentage of the population has COVID antibodies and therefore has some protection from COVID, shows that almost 90% of Delhi's population has COVID antibodies. It might have been because the second wave was sort of so very sweeping and so many people were infected then. It's also partially a result of the protection from vaccines. But would you say that given those numbers, it's actually probably far safer for children to be back in school?
Absolutely, Ankita, that even the previous survey was saying even 55% of the children are also seropositive, and that has happened despite the schools were not open, because parents and anybody who gets infection, children can get the infections, and children with a very good immunity, so you cannot diagnose that they have got the infection. And with good seropositivity of 90%, I think we are reasonably safe. I'm not saying the vaccination should not happen. Vaccination should happen. The hygiene standard should continue to be maintained. The social distancing continue to be maintained. And I appreciate the effort Sudhaji was just mentioning about the schools. And another thing which I want to say is every corners of the school rooms should be properly ventilated, and they should have a good facility even for exhaust and air purifier. Recently in UK, they are putting CO2 sensors. Now, CO2 sensor, what they do is they diagnose the areas where the ventilation is not proper.
Right.
And those areas need to be more taken care of.
Okay.
And indoor infections happen more than outdoors.
Right, right. And of course, the UK is seeing a sharp spike in cases as the winter sets in and many more people are bundled together indoors. Quick last question to you, Dr. Sudha Acharya. Do you believe that, all schools have enough bandwidth to handle students at 50% strength on any given day for offline classes and simultaneously carry out online classes as well?
We are doing that already. See, classes 9 to 12 are in school and we are getting very good attendance. But teachers are teaching, common teachers, they are teaching 8th also. The teacher who is teaching 9th is teaching also 8th. So they are juggling between online and offline class. But what we have done is that the classes 9, suppose we have staggered. Today 9th A and B have come. So the classroom teaching is live webcast at home. So children, those who are at home, CD, they can see that. So that kind of technology also we have explored. But I would say one thing, that after festival, children must come back to school, because it is my experience that from July we have opened up school and 4 classes are coming in full strength. We did not get a single case of COVID. Right. And I have got so many parents, as Dr. Narang is saying here, in Manipal Hospital, pediatric heads, they are saying last 4 months we did not get any case as such. Okay. And children, especially pre-primary children and primary children, they have very less receptor to get the disease. So they must come back to school, because the kind of learning gap we are seeing in school while taking offline exam, parents are requesting us to open the school. Otherwise, the repercussion will be for next 20 years, right. I think.
Well, those are reassuring words indeed, and we certainly hope, parents take that message to heart. Prajita Gautam, we hope some of your doubts have also been allayed in the course of this show. Thank you all for joining us. Let's move on for the moment to news coming in from Delhi's border. 3 women have been killed after a truck hit them near a farmers' protest site on the Delhi-Haryana border. 2 of the women died on the spot. 1 died in hospital. A speeding truck ran over a road divider, resulting in these deaths at the Tikri border. The women were said to be sitting on the divider waiting for an auto rickshaw when the truck hit them. The driver ran away from the accident scene. Coming up after the break, actor Amitabh Bachchan all set to drop his first ever non-fungible token or NFT. It will give his fans a chance to own a rare moment from his career. We bring you details in just a moment. If we tell you could own a rare and precious moment of your favorite artist or his iconic clothing, poetry or song, and that all of this could happen through a digital auction, well, would you believe us? Well, if you don't believe us, do believe Amitabh Bachchan. That's right, he's dropping his first ever NFT or non-fungible token today, and NDTV gets you inside access. Here, the details from the actor himself.
Namaskar, this is Amitabh Bachchan. Perhaps all of you know that some time ago there was an announcement of my association with NFT. Many of you are not aware what NFT is all about. So NFT is like an institution that possesses various personal artifacts, personal moments of artists, and puts it out in an auction for you to be able to acquire it in perpetuity. So let us say that there is either a poster, a piece of garment that I've worn in a film of mine, or some personal clothing, recitations of my father's poems, with a little bit of story behind it. All these become very intimate moments, which then goes up in an auction, and you possess that in perpetuity. It remains with you for life. And it comes with a certification. You can trade with it also in the future if you so desire. But the NFTs will offer you a chance to own an original piece of, my rare, cherishable moments of my life. As I said, eternally. You can also trade them freely. Yeah. So right from my first film, South Hindustani, to my earlier life, right down to present times, little stories about my films, about a particular scene. Recitation of Madhushala, for example, which I've done in the same way that my father used to sing it, and giving it some music. Some backstories on moments, on films. And as I said, these remain with you. So there is going to be an auction, and what you need to do is, all this is brought to you exclusively on, make a note of this, beyondlife.club. Beyondlife.club. And the stage for this is set on November the 1st, 2021. So you need to watch out for the drop line. I'm going to be waiting for you. So be there and cherish. Beyond Life Club. Thank you.
And finally, actress Sunny Leone has invested in a new clothing line called I Am Animal. What's special is that this is a PETA-approved, cruelty-free brand that helps the environment. Sunny Leone spoke exclusively with NDTV's Rohit Khilna.
I would like to talk about I Am Animal. Firstly, do you want to tell people you've invested in this? What is I Am Animal?
I Am Animal is a completely organic, sustainable, vegan company where we have created this amazing line of clothing which fits well. There's a lot of unisex items for men and women, which is awesome. And, we're in a time period where we all really love being comfy and sitting at home, or because of COVID, or we just want to be comfortable now because, things have changed. So I'm wearing it. It's very comfortable. And the styles are really, really cool styles for people. So if you are going to be in sweats or you're going to be in comfy clothes, then you might as well have a little style while doing it.
Right. And it's cruelty-free. Do you want, was that your top criteria? It should be cruelty-free.
Almost every single thing that we do here with my company and everybody here in the office, we believe in not hurting animals in the process of creating things for the rest of the world.
Right.
And I think it's so important to have amazing pieces of clothing that look good, that are really stylish, and we're able to not hurt animals in the process. And I think that, or the environment. So I think that it's really important that we are aware of what we're wearing, why we're wearing it, and I think that's the culture that we're in right now.